I also knew that I didn't want to own Oklahoma Shirt Company. And as soon as I was a doctor, I was going to either give this away or I was going to sell it to like Amy and Jaron and Logan and the people that were running it or something. But it wasn't a long-term play for me at all. Mm-hmm. And so I take the test and I apply. Well, I get into medical school at OU, mm-hmm. which is cool. So then I decide to move my business downtown. And so I was just driving around downtown and I saw that building. Yeah. That was it was the middle building. There was just a warehouse. And I called and it was very reasonable rent. And I said, okay, we'll do this. So then I had that summer, basically, mm-hmm. like starting in May is when I think I like locked it up. And then I had May and June and July to get the business ready because school was starting in August. Right. So they stayed up in Edmond working. And I most days was down in Oklahoma City, demoing out, trying to lay out the space, get things going. And so we got that going, and then I started school, and then the business just kind of freezes. So mm-hmm. at that time, I bet we had 12 to 15 people working there. Amy's there, Jaron's there, Logan's there. I have a guy named Wopsel, which is Amy's husband, that's helping me run the spot. And I'm like, you guys just gotta no, not Wopsel, Brian at the time, our first sales manager. I said, y'all have to run this. I'm going to school. I will check in as much as I can. And so we moved the business. I built a study dungeon at Oklahoma mm-hmm. Shirt Company, which is my conference room today, which is where I still office, which feels really good. Yeah. And so we get after it. And I go to school, and it's hard. And then my wife it also happens that in the middle of the year we're having our second kid. So then I find myself in this situation again that I've been once before. So I have a full-time job at Oklahoma Shirt Company. Yeah. I have my wife who's had a kid. I have school. And I have medical school. Yeah. So I divorced my wife. Which is hard enough if you didn't have a job. Yes. And then medical school, yeah. Yes. Kick the wife out. I divorced my wife, put the kids up for adoption. No, I said, crap. Yeah. This doesn't work. I can't do 3 big things. Yeah. And so I talked to my wife. I talked to everybody that would talk to me, seeking mentorship, seeking discernment, seeking wisdom. Because I became obsessed with getting into medical school. Mm-hmm. And you have to. You have to. That's the only, It's that hard. You have to. And you got to go all in. You got to go all in. Yeah. And then some. Yeah. And so I finally reached this piece after talking to a really great man by the name of Dr. Norman Neves. He was the guy who started Church of the Servant. Mm-hmm. And he told me, he said, Justin, you keep telling me this story and you keep talking about it like it's a fork in the road. I have to abandon medical school to do this. Yeah. And he said, it's not a fork in the road. This is a journey, and this is just the next best thing that you have going for you. Mm-hmm. And guess what, dude? You get to take all of those experiences with you. Right. So you should walk into this next chapter of your life and hey, you climbed that medical school mountain. You did it. You're not a doctor, and you're not doing that. But also, guess what? Your kids are now 2 and 0, and your next 10 years is you're going to have zero control over your life for the next 10 years. You're going to be working a lot, and you're going to look up when you finally have your freedom and you finally have financial stability. Right. Your kids are going to be 10 and 12, and they're not going to want anything to do with you. Yeah. That's a good conversation to have at that time, isn't it? That's a smart man to tell you that, right? I mean, it sucks, a time of life or whatever, and you've worked your ass off to get there, but at the same time, it's you needed that conversation, right? And so I quit. Yeah. And it was hard, but it was also okay. I still have peace about it. I literally think about it every single day, still. Yeah. And it also doesn't help that we moved from Deer Creek, and we live in downtown Oklahoma City now in a neighborhood called Mesta Park that we love, and and my shop's there, and so it's great, but I miss it. I don't regret it. Right. But I certainly do miss it.